Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Kusura bakmayın, teknik bir aksaklıktan dolayı biraz geç başladık. Bugün Alberta University of the Arts ile Sanat ve Dizayn bölümleri Kanada'da yaşam hakkında her şeyi Kaylee'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı sağ alt köşede Questions bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Kaylee, the stage is yours now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. My name is Kaylee. I'm a Recruitment and Admissions Officer with AU Arts. Today, I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about our institution, as well as just giving some information about what it's like to be an international student studying with Alberta University of the Arts. So first, I'm just going to start off with giving just a little bit information about who we are. So Alberta University of the Arts is located in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and we are one of 4 dedicated art institutions in Canada that specialize in art, craft, and design education. We have a studio-based programming, so that means a lot of your education will be very hands-on and very focused on developing your artistic skills. So in the presentation, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Calgary, a little bit about our programs, and then also covering just some important information to know as an international student studying with our institution. So first, starting off with telling you a little bit more about what it's like to live in Calgary. So Calgary is a very safe and walkable place. AU Arts is situated in the north or downtown core, setting our campus within easy walking distance of a couple very trendy neighborhoods. So it's a very walkable and very welcoming community surrounding our campus. Calgary is also an ideal city for passionate cyclists, runners, as we have over 984 kilometers, so just a lot of space for you to walk, explore, or even just wander around the city. For 10 consecutive years, Calgary has been ranked among the 5 most livable cities in North America, and in 2018 and 2019 was named the most livable city in North America by The Economist, ranking very high in stability, healthcare, culture and environment, as well as education and infrastructure. So our city is also very proud to have a vibrant arts and culture scene with dozens of public events hosted throughout the year, such as science and art festivals. There's also a number of markets where you can purchase work, or as an artist, it's really important that there's lots of these opportunities for you to be able to sell your work, or even just be able to get your name out there within the larger art community. Calgary is home to dozens of artist-run gallery spaces, which offer unique public programming each season and help to support the creative people and our creative emerging artists. So next, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the area surrounding Calgary, as we're located really close to the Rocky Mountains, so a really wonderful mountain line that provides a number of additional experiences during your time studying with us. So the city center of Calgary is built along a major river system in Alberta and rests upon the traditional Treaty 7 territories of the Blackfoot people, and as I said earlier, is just steps away from the Rocky Mountains. So we have what's pictured on the screen here is just some examples of the amazing scenes that you can get within 45 minutes of driving outside of Calgary. There's also a number of transit systems and bus systems which provide convenient access and also more cost-effective ways to be able to explore the Rocky Mountains if you do not have access to a car, which is very common for international students who might be traveling to AU Arts. And also, since the city is built along the Elbow River, there's lots of opportunities to explore on that river, including being able to canoe or even get a raft and float along it. There's a number of special extracurricular excursions that you can participate in as a student at AU Arts to help get you acquainted with some more of the surrounding areas of Calgary. So in this next slide here that I'm going to have up on screen, it's going to be going a little bit more in depth into the program areas that we offer. Beginning first with our first year studies program. So at AU Arts, the way that we operate as an institution is your first time entering into university. If you have no prior education, you'll be going into our first year studies program. So first year is an introductory course. It also provides you with an experience to try out a number of different areas without needing to commit to a specific degree at this time. All of the courses you complete with your first year at AU Arts will go towards your degree program of choice. So broken down on the screen here is just to give you a little bit of a better idea of the pathway to earning a degree. So with that first year studies program, you can expect to complete drawing courses, studio courses, which are really those hands-on. It's where you can pick and choose some specific areas that might be of interest to you. And then also there are 2 art history courses as well as 2 critical studies courses. Overall, we want to make sure that you're not only developing your critical and technical skills, but also developing your vocabulary, how you talk about art, and making sure that you're still building upon some of those liberal studies focused areas. Once you complete your first year studies, you can then go on to pursue a Bachelor of Fine Arts, which is more of our traditional side of the bachelor program. So majors in this program include drawing, painting, media arts, jewelry and metals, sculpture. So a lot of the program that you'd expect with an arts degree. But there's also some really exciting majors within our Bachelor of Fine Arts, including glass blowing, print media. So there's lots of exploration within the Bachelor of Fine Arts program as well. For Bachelor of Design, it's a bit more of that contemporary program, which consists of 2 majors, photography and visual communication design. And visual communication design does further break out into streams that include character design, illustration, advertising, and graphic design. So in your first year, you can kind of experience both of these major or bachelor programs, so the Bachelor of Fine Arts and Bachelor of Design, all in your first year. Once you have successfully completed your first year of study, you can then go on to pursue a specific major in the specific programs. Overall, to complete a degree with AU Arts, it's 4 years, and 70% of your education will be based in the studio, with the remaining 30%, which is focused in those liberal arts areas. So you're going to have a lot of focus in the studio with some of those supporting classes to ensure you're building those critical thinking skills as well. So another really important thing to know as an international student is access to healthcare insurance with the government of Alberta. So we have Alberta Healthcare Insurance Plan, which offers basic healthcare that will cover things like doctor visits, laboratory tests, and insured hospital costs. New students must apply to get into the Alberta Healthcare Insurance Plan, but it's really important to know, just as an international student coming into Canada, you will have access to this basic healthcare completely free as well. In addition to what is available with the government of Alberta, there's also access to additional healthcare and support with our student association as part of our campus, so Alberta University of the Arts Student Association. This will provide additional coverage for dental as well as health, which includes prescription medications, or for dental or eye care, that would include like visits to the dentist, or as well getting new glasses if you need. So it's just important to know, as an international student, there are additional benefits that you will have access to as part of your tuition payment, as you will pay a premium for that. One of the other really exciting things about Alberta University of the Arts is that we do have access to student housing in partnership with an institution that's just across the street from us. So we're the only art and design focused institution in Canada that also has access to a student housing or student residence. So some just quick things to know. It's about a 5-minute walk from the AU Arts campus to this student housing area. There's a number of room options available depending on what price point you're open to, or as well if you're interested with living with 3 other people, 2 other people, or if you just want to live alone. It's a very convenient location. So AU Arts, as well as the student housing, there's a train system that runs in between them that provides convenient access to all over Calgary. But as well, within a 15-minute walk, you'll have access to a mall, which has just like a little bit of shopping if you need to do, like buy a new winter coat or buy some more thicker clothing, as well as access to a number of restaurants, cafes, and a grocery market. So a very convenient location. It's also a great way to meet other students who are also international, who are attending AU Arts, or just a good way to stay connected with your fellow students who are also attending the same institution as you. And state residence, which is what they're known as, the student housing, does have something called the living and learning community. With this living and learning community, you will be based on a whole floor dedicated to AU Art students in a building that also has a studio in the basement for you to complete your projects outside of class time. My next slide will go over a bit about AU Arts tuition and fees. So what I have up on the screen here is based on some the 2020 to 2021 academic year, but you can see the price is quite similar. So we'll be looking at this $18,837. This is just to give you an idea of how the incremental increase of tuition is over the 4 years. So just to be aware, we are subject to a 7% increase in tuition, just so you can kind of get an idea about what it would be like to the cost of tuition over a couple of years here. So it's about $18,000 or just over $18,000 for a year of study at AU Arts. And this is also based on a full course load. So I'll go into next a bit about the study permit that is mandatory to have as an international student studying at a Canadian institution. But it's just important to know that you do need to maintain a certain status of full-time student to be able to have access to that study permit. One other thing to note is that this tuition and fees gives you an idea of all of the tuition and fees associated with full-time study and a maximum course load. It does not include any additional fees that might be associated with supplies or books, which is an estimated $3,400 in addition to what is the tuition and fees on screen here. So in my next slide, just to give you a bit of information about obtaining a study permit. So AU Arts will support you in obtaining all the appropriate acceptance letters, as well as a bit about the process of applying for a study permit at AU, or a study permit for Canada. Just some important things to know is maintaining full-time student status. It is required to study in Canada. There is a certain fee associated with applying for a study permit, and also just a noting when you will obtain specific information to help support you in that application for this study permit. Another thing that is a really common question I get from students is working in Canada, or what is the possibility of obtaining work while you're studying. So as an international student, you are allowed to work a certain amount of hours per week, which is outlined there for during the academic term as well as outside of the academic term. And we have a number of opportunities available on campus for you to get some part-time work. And as well, as I said earlier in the presentation, AU Arts is located in a really fantastic community surrounding our campus. So there's lots of opportunities to pick up part-time work at a cafe, at a restaurant, or even a shopping, or even a store. And also we do have a job board. So you're able to pick up some freelance or part-time work associated with your artistic practice to be able to start building up some of those client relationships. So next, just to talk a bit about the application process, it can be broken down into 3 steps. So including obtaining high school transcripts, statement of intent, and as well your creative portfolio. If you ever have concerns about meeting specific requirements or needing additional support, we have a number of pathways as well as supports available to you during the application process. So just a bit about the application requirements. So applications or the academic requirements, we're looking for basically 60% overall in your last term of study at a high school or secondary school. And this 60% overall requirement is if you were in a non-Canadian curriculum. If you are currently studying a Canadian curriculum, we'll be looking for a grade 12 English class with a successful completion at 60%, as well as 3 additional courses in grade 12 at a minimum of 60%. The requirement for English language proficiency is determined on what the course of study you're currently in. So if the course of study, the primary language of instruction is English, you will not be required to obtain English language proficiency examinations. If your study is not in English, then we will require you to present English language proficiency exams, including the areas that are listed, or just an example of some of the English language proficiency exams that we do accept and the minimums required to achieve on screen there. So next is just a bit about, sorry, one second here. Oh, there we go. So applications for AU Arts are currently open and will remain open until June 1st. At that time, we will close applications and we will no longer be able to accept portfolios or the or applications period. So if you do want to learn a little bit more, have a little bit more of a discussion surrounding our academic programs, I'm more than happy. I can hear kind of the chat and people to maybe typing in some questions. So I'm more than happy to take a look at those and answer some questions. But as well, we do have a number of online booking services as well as presentations that go into depth about our portfolio requirements, about academics. You can book a one-on-one to talk about your specific situation, your specific scenario, and we can help outline whether you're ready to apply to AU Arts or just kind of help you with the application process. And also you can just talk a little bit more about what it's like to be an international student at AU Arts. So to find all of that information about future presentations as well as online bookings, you can find it on our AU Arts website, so auarts.ca, and then you just need to find the campus tours and events section. Also, make sure to follow us on all of our social media outlets to stay up to date on the exciting things that we have going on campus. As well, if you have any questions at any time, you're more than welcome to reach out to any of the AU Arts recruitment team at myfuture@auarts.ca. And then we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Awesome. And thanks so much for being in attendance today. I see lots of people saying hello and hi, so welcome. And yes, if you do have any questions, make sure to include them in that question box. I don't see anybody included any in the chat. So what I might do is, if I do still have some time, I'd just like to show our website and where you can find some additional information, as our website is chock full of important stuff to know, and also is just a really great resource. So I'll maybe just give a second and see if there's any questions, in case anybody might be typing anything out. Okay. Okay, well, feel free to continue to type out your question if you're still typing it out. Oh, here we go. Okay, so there is a question about the Master of Architecture. So unfortunately, we don't offer any master programming in architecture. However, I will bring up on the screen here our website, and I will show a little bit about our Master of Fine Arts program. So just hold one second here while I get the website up and going. And also I'll show where you can find more information about the specific programs available. Okay, and this should work if I bring this over here. Perfect. So I'm just going to go to auarts.ca. Okay, and then from here, if you want to learn a little bit more about our programs, you can go over to this Learn With Us tab, which you will see undergraduate and graduate differentiation. In the presentation, I spoke a little bit more about our undergraduate programs, as the graduate studies office is completely separate from me, but I'm more than happy to answer just a little bit more about, or I can give some brief information about our master program. But you can go into program areas here, which will break down all that are available for both the graduate as well as the undergraduate which is noted here. You can see ceramics, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and Bachelor or Master of Fine Arts. Okay, and I do see some additional questions in the chat there. Okay, so there's a question regarding missing the minimum score requirements for IELTS or TOEFL. So I will bring that up on the screen here from the presentation. But also you can find this information on our website too if you do need to reference it. Sorry, just let me bring that screen back up here. Here we go. So as you can see listed here, the minimum IELTS that we will accept, and just to specify, we do require the academic test for IELTS, is 6.5 overall. And then for TOEFL, we're looking for a minimum of 83 overall with no category less than 20. Okay, and the next question I see here is regarding IB credentials to study. So for the IB, we will be looking for the diploma program, and we will be looking for an overall 60% in courses, but specifically with IB, we will be also looking for the successful completion of an English course in that program. But yeah, we'll be looking for the diploma with the IB program. A diploma is required across the whole board for academic requirements. And then we'll be looking for a minimum 60% of your overall study or 60% academic grade overall. And we'll be looking for a total of that. We're not looking for any specific courses to be completed with the IB diploma program other than English. We will be looking for that as the main requirement. Okay, the next question here. Do you offer career services or partner companies for internship opportunities for foreign students? So unfortunately, we do not offer any internship or co-op opportunities as part of our academic program. In terms of international students, we do have the postgraduate work permit, which is something that's available to apply for once you have completed your 4 years of study. With that postgraduate work permit, there are a number of opportunities available with the Canadian government as well as the government of Alberta to help you with that process of applying for the postgraduate work permit. But unfortunately at AU Arts, we do not have any services that are specific to internships or co-op opportunities. At this time, I should say. They are currently looking into it, just not at this time. Okay, next question here is if we offer any English language preparation courses or partner language schools. So we do not have any specific 4-credit English courses. However, we do have our ArtStream program. So ArtStream is a bridging program that helps support any students who maybe have some difficulty meeting our minimum English language proficiency requirements, or maybe are looking for just an easier transition into a fully English instructed institution. So ArtStream is a 1-year program. Upon successful completion, you will earn a certificate that will grant you entry into our first-year studies program. And things to note about ArtStream, you will earn credit that will go towards your degree program, and it is non-transferable to other institutions, so it's not a standalone language preparation year or language preparation course, but it is a really great alternative. If you were here earlier in the presentation when I was just going a bit about our application process, you may have seen it listed here under the how to apply. So the non-diploma to ArtStream. Or as well, it can be used as a supportive year, transitional year into a fully English instructed institution. Okay, a really great question is about living expenses around campus and the city center. So AU Arts is located about 15 minutes from the city center of Calgary. So we're kind of just like, we're basically, there's the river, the downtown core is on one side, and we're just on the other side. So we are relatively close, but we're in a really nice community that's surrounding AU Arts that provides access to like housing opportunities that are off campus, as well as a number of just other employment opportunities surrounding campus for part-time work. Living expenses, so the city of Calgary, as well as just the general Alberta, which is the province we're located in, it does have a lower living expenses in comparison to some of the other locations around Canada. So we do have relatively low living costs, and as well surrounding campus, there are a number of different opportunities for living, but we do have that on-campus student housing, which does provide a couple different price points depending on what your budget looks like. But I know in purposes of obtaining a study permit, you do need to present that you have the necessary funds available to pay for tuition, as well as an additional 10,000 Canadian to support any additional fees associated with living costs, or like having the necessary amount of money to make sure that you can buy food. But typically we say it'll cost you, about 18,000 or 19,000 for tuition for the full academic year. The cost of housing on campus will be about $7,000 for the full academic year. And then we recommend having allotted an additional $1,000 for the full year to make sure that you have enough money to buy some additional clothing that will be required, some heavier like parkas or winter coats. And then as well, additional costs for food. But if you do have special questions, you need like a full breakdown of our tuition costs and kind of cost of living, I'm happy to supply that document if you just get in touch with me. So I will just put my email into the chat for anybody to reach out to me if you have any questions at all. Oops. There we go. Sorry, I just got a note that my connection might have been lost, so apologies if any of that was missed. But I just put my email in the chat there if anybody does have any additional questions about cost of living. I'm happy to specify that further. Or, of course, you can reach out to any of us using that myfuture@auarts.ca email.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Kaylee. It was very informative for the attendees, and you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm more than happy to meet with anybody one-on-one at a separate time. You can just get in touch with me, or as well, you can go to auarts.ca and find our online booking form to be able to book an appointment with myself or any of my colleagues. Okay, and I just see, I'm not sure where we're at for time, but I just see one more question in the chat that I will just answer, or in the questions. So areas, opportunities for masters, specifically potentially computer science department or data. So unfortunately, we do not have any master programming in computer sciences or those areas. We are an art and design focused institution, so we do have a Master of Fine Arts. However, we don't offer anything within the computer science area for master opportunities.
Yes, thank you very much for that answer too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the last question. So once again, thank you very much. And also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Alberta University of the Arts ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Kaylee'ye ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, Kaylee. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks. Is there anything you would like to add before we wrap up?
So just finally, I guess one last thing is I'll just provide another reminder of our application. So applications are currently open for fall 2022 with a deadline of June 1st. So that'll just be my last final reminder. And thank you so much again. Feel free to get in touch at any time if you have any questions following the presentation.
Perfect. That's good to know. Thank you very much again. See you soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.